Now I'm using Antron, and you can use a bunch of different colors for the shuck. You know, if you got, and I'm only going to take about probably, you know, 4 or 5 strands, maybe at the most here. So you don't need much for the shuck on here. And I'm just going to take kind of a loose wrap in here just to catch it. And so you're going to use that thread, whatever color the body is for a blueing olive. In other words, this one is kind of a grayish color, kind of a gray-brown color. You'll see some of the bluings that have that color, some of them that have a real, almost a bright green color. This fine and dry dubbing, and I'm going to use an olive, just a little olive dubbing here. You don't need much. Just going to dub a little onto the thread. You know, I build a ball up right here. And this is going to hold the next step when I do the deer hair. You could just build a little ball on there. Can everybody see that? That little ball? Yep. Then I'm just going to clip the shuck area, and I usually leave that long, a little longer. You can always shorten it up, you know, when you're fishing it later on. If you want to, you can take and do a rib on here of wire if you want. That'll get that fly. I'm going to take a chunk of deer hair off of here, and I kind of measure about the gap of the hook as to how much deer hair I'm going to use. And I do that before I cut it. And I take and cut it right. And then I'm going to take and stack this. And what I do is I take that out just the same direction that my deer hair is going to go. So the tips are going to go forward on here. If you do have a little chafe or broken tips in there, you can take those out. And you're just going to measure at the length of from the bend to the eye. I'm not going to do it just a little shorter than that. And just move it up to where your ball is, and take one loose wrap, 2 loose wraps, and then you can just take and pull it tight.
Is that in front of the ball?
In front of the ball, yeah. And then you can make 4 or 5 wraps back there right behind the deer hair, and then you're going to cut this deer hair just a little bit long so it kicks up over that ball.
I forgot all about it at first.
I actually like either a dun or a grizzly hackle will work. I use dun for the bluing olive. I clip that so it's got the barbs kind of catching right there. And then I just make a couple wraps just to get that tied in. And I've got it set so that the shiny side is down, so the concave part of the feather is like this, up. And you can just catch the tip of that hackle right in front of your deer hair. And if you want to use the vise, you can just turn that. I usually do just a couple wraps, maybe 3 wraps at the most and back. And if you want to, you can just pull that hair up and just catch it right up in the front with your thread.
Don can show you how, because he took instructions already. Hooks are in your right.
I just do a couple wraps just to catch that hackle. And then just take the tips of the scissors, just catch that hackle. And you can kind of hold back the fibers here in the front, and then just do a whip finish. If you want to use a couple half hitches. I'm just doing it with my fingers, so you can also use a whip finish tool. And I just kind of inch that back with my fingers. And then when you fish this thing should sit in the water just about like this in the water when it's floating. So that little deer hair sticks up, and the shuck is hanging down into the water, and it works great for anytime you got blueing owls coming off. They seem to go for these more so than a regular dun.
Time for sulfurs in it?
Yep,
you know how
sulfurs
come off so quick that seems
yep.
like that would be a good
I have
in those colors.
Yeah, and all I do is use a kind of a lighter greenish yellow thread for that. And if you want to, you can dub the body a little bit, but I don't usually do
color
that.
hackle, or are you using sort of
I use the dun hackle for sulfurs, and yeah, it'll outfish any of the dun patterns that you